Good evening. Welcome to the Lease app tutorial series. This video we're going to be looking at converting a previous asset listing into a BLA. A BLA is an acronym for blockchain listed asset, and essentially it is a smart contract which is created specifically for and linked to your asset listing. And that smart contract processes various lease related transactions like holding a deposit, um, processing lease installments, processing lease handover events, and even calculating interest on overdue amounts. It has quite a lot of features and functionality, and so in order for the application to process these various aspects for your asset and allow you to receive deposits and payments and so on, you're going to need to convert your asset listing into a BLA before it can do all of those additional actions. So to start, we're going to first go to the My Account page because we're going to need some of the native blockchain currency to deploy the BLA to the blockchain. Now you'll see when you go to the My Account page here, it's got the various currencies that are currently available on the Lease app. These are the currencies that we've selected to work with the Lease app for now. We try not to use speculative investment currencies. We try to use more transactional currencies. So you'll see the bottom two here are these two are stable tokens that are pegged to their respective country currencies or fiat currencies, if you're familiar with that term. So XR is linked to the South African Rand. So one XR would be equivalent to one South African Rand, and USDT is linked to the US dollar. So one USDT would be equivalent to one US dollar. And both of these are available on third-party cryptocurrency exchanges. So you could go to one of the exchanges and buy either of these. You can also buy this top one here, which is a native currency to the Polygon blockchain, but you can buy either of these and then deposit them into this application or deposit them to some other address. And then you can also transfer from this application to those cryptocurrency exchanges and redeem them back into the legacy currencies that a typical bank account would give you, for example. And you can then have those currencies deposited into your bank and so on. We do have a bar function here, but we are still building up our stock levels of the various currencies, so the bar function is not currently active. We're hoping to get it up and running soon, but for the meantime it does give links to cryptocurrency exchanges where you're able to buy these currencies and then deposit them here. So to deposit a currency into the application, you would go to the My Account page, this page, and then select deposit, and you'll see over here it says it gives you your wallet address. This is the address that you would select. Don't select token contract address. You don't need to worry about that at the moment. Just your wallet address. You would copy that and then go to the relevant exchange and put your wallet address in there, and make sure you're using the Polygon proof of stake blockchain network when you do the transfer to that wallet address. And once you process the transfer, you can come and refresh this account page, and then your balance should be reflected here. The Polygon blockchain processes transactions relatively quickly, so it shouldn't take long for your funds to reflect at all. Okay, so once you've got your funds here, then we can go and do the conversion. We've set the conversion quite low for now while we're doing the videos, but when the app is up and running and available to the public, I would suggest getting between 30 and 40 poll to start. that should be enough for you to do the conversion of a asset listing. Obviously that's at this sort of time. Prices may change in the future, so you may need to just keep up to date with the current pricing. But I think for now, 30 to 40 pole is going to be sufficient for you to process the listing. Okay, so we're going to go to my listings, and we'll find our listing that we did in the previous video. You're welcome to go and have a look at that tutorial where we discuss the various aspects of listing an asset, and we will select that listing, and we'll have a look here in the top right. It says convert to BLA, so we're going to select convert to BLA, and this will take us to the quotation screen, which will generate the quote for us. And as I've noted, we set the price low while we're doing these tutorial videos, but it will be increased probably to 27 pole or somewhere around there. So if you get 30 to 40 pole, you're gonna have quite a bit in your account, and you'll have enough to process various transactions on the blockchain as well. So I think that's a good amount to start with. Okay, so there's no discount codes available at the moment. We may make some available in the near future, or maybe not. It depends how things go. But if there are discount codes available, you would put it in there and then apply the discount, and it will then recalculate the prices for you. Okay, but for now we're going to go purchase BLA. This is the estimate, and we're just going to put in our password. Hope I can remember it. And then select pay now. And there you see it's processed the transaction and it's completed. And over here is a TX hash, and then we've got the blockchain address. So that's an address that the asset was deployed to. Then there's a BLA ID, so that's the ID for the specific asset, and then it shows all the relevant figures over there. But getting back to this TX hash, what we can do is we can copy that TX hash, and we can go and look on the Blockchain Explorer to see the transaction externally from the application. So I'm going to open up Polygon Scan, and what we'll do is you'll paste that TX hash in that search bar there, search for it, and there it will show us the transaction. So this is the transaction that we just processed on the Lease app. This website is totally different from the Lease app. It's used to check various transactions on the Polygon blockchain, and you can see here's the transaction. This is our account number, and then it gives all the details about the transaction. It shows the transfer. Then it shows that we were issued a NFT for our BLA as well. So that's the NFT that is associated. We discussed that in the previous video as well. And you can see, so all of the transactions that are processed on the blockchain are viewable independently from the applications that process them, which is great for verifying that things are in order. Okay, so let's go back to the Lease up there. Okay, here we are back at the home screen. We're going to go to the My Listings page and have a look at the listing now that we've done the conversion. You'll see at the top here it's changed from convert to BLA to BLA data. Now, if we click that button, it's going to connect with the blockchain, and it's going to look at the data and the balances associated with our BLA contract. So these are the current balances of the various currencies that the Lease app supports. At the moment, there's nothing because we haven't had any deals or deposited any funds into the BLA contract. But essentially, the available amount will show you what you are able to withdraw, and the locked balances refers to monies that are locked for the deposit or transport provision and things like that. So you would be able to withdraw the available amounts, but the locked amounts you're not able to withdraw unless those are unlocked and the lessee concedes a portion of the deposit, or funds for like transport provision are paid because the item has been delivered and so on. So that's what those balances are. Then in the middle here, it would typically just give a quick overview of the current deals and show you some of the aspects relating to that, like the deposit for that specific deal and the transport provision for that specific deal. On the right here, it gives us various means of interacting with the BLA contract. So the first item here is lease settings. If we select that, this gives us the ability to change various settings associated with our contract and the associated lease deals. So yeah, we've got time unit. We could change that from day to hour if we wanted. If we wanted to change it, we'd select update. Would give us an estimate, and we would put in our password, and then it would process the change on the blockchain. So all subsequent deals after that change would then use the new value. All the existing deals that had made a booking before the change would use the previous value, or the value that was there before the change. So that's how that works. There's various different things that we can change: the booking buffer, the unit lease rate, for example, the billing frequency. So we had chosen seven units. We could make it into 3 if we wanted to. So that's how that system works. Going back, the next one is add-ons. So that allows us to view the existing add-ons or remove them. We're also able to add in new add-ons. I'm not going to go into detail with that right now. Then logistics. So the default logistics provider that's set up when you set up your BLA is the BLA owner, so i.e. you, and it's set up with that default rate that we specified in the beginning. So that rate would automatically be quoted to a lessee if they're searching for a lease deal, and it will automatically use that rate and apply it with the relative distance to give a quote price on what it would cost to deliver and return the item. So you could then deliver the item yourself, and then just use that money to cover your costs, or you could use that money to pay a courier to deliver the item for you. As we noted in the previous video, and you'll see how we've got ad provider, we are busy developing the front end part of the application to include various third-party logistics providers. So the lessee might be able then to select another provider, and it would process it automatically where that provider is then notified of the request, and it would make a booking with them and process the payments and so on and so on. So that's one of the nice things about working with this blockchain technology, is we can automate and integrate a lot of different aspects into the way that we move and deal with value and the processing of various transactions. Okay, so most of that third-party logistics provider infrastructure is already built into the Lease app, at least in terms of the smart contracts and the logic side of it. but as I've said, we've still got a bit of development work to do with the front end and the interface for the third-party logistics providers. So check back in the not too distant future and it may be up and running. Right, then the next one is terms and conditions. So this is quite a nice innovation as well. In addition to the terms that we specified before with the lease rate and that sort of thing, this allows us to add in like written terms and conditions, as you might see in a typical document. And it's similar to a document format. To do so, we would add a section header. I'm just going to put your test header for now, to give a idea of how it works. We go add header, and then next to the header there's a little drop down arrow, and selecting it we can add a note or in essence like a term or a sentence. And we're just going to put your test note. You could put here a term or a condition like as it must be used in accordance with safety regulations or something like that. I'm just going to put test note for now, or update note, and then you'll see that the application automatically numbers the headers and the notes below the headers. So you can do more than one header and more than one note, and in essence make like a little document of the terms and conditions related to your asset and the associated lease deals. And now when we click update, this will give us an estimate to update these terms and conditions to the blockchain. So those terms and conditions are then also included on the blockchain as a permanent record associated with your asset and the associated lease deals. So there's no sort of questioning then when it comes to looking back at what was agreed to when the deal was entered into, because it's all on the blockchain. It's there. And if you are familiar with the blockchain, blockchain is able to, one of the features of it is that it's sort of tamper proof. You can't really be tampering with the data without the whole blockchain system knowing that something's been tampered with. That's one of the great things about blockchain. So these terms and conditions are stored on the blockchain, and that's great in terms of that. We go back, and the last thing here, for now, there may be additional things that come into play in the future, but for now is the roles. So by default at this stage, both the owner and the lessor role, as you can see there, are one and the same. So they both apply to your wallet address that you are issued when you sign up for the app. The idea is that a little later on, once we've had some more time to build out some of the front-end systems, you would be able to appoint a different lessor, and that lessor could then manage the leasing out of your asset, and have the ability to process certain functions with regards to your lease deals, but you would still have control and be able to withdraw funds and so on. So that's the purpose of those roles at over there. Okay, so as noted before, these are here to interact with your BLA contract. This is in the asset view. In the deal view, there's different interactions, like the lessee will have a button to make a lease installment or payment. They can also then open up, and in a similar manner, when they click like contract data over there, they'll the application will connect with the blockchain, and it will see the current payments and so on and so on, and then display like a statement of what's been paid, what's overdue, and so on. So that is pretty much how it works. Once you've converted to a BLA, that's what you will be able to do. If we go over here to withdraw, obviously there are no funds at the moment, but we'll be able to specify how much we want to withdraw, and then process that transaction, and then those funds then get put into your main account, which you can transfer out of or make various payments with, and so on. That's what happens when you withdraw. And then view asset data logs. You would be able to view various transactions over a given date range. Repair and maintenance, as we discussed in a previous video, this allows you to both record off-chain payments and to make on-chain payments to third-party repair and maintenance people, or maybe you've bought a part for your item, you can record it on here. So if they do support blockchain payments, you can make the payments. If they don't, you can record the payments on the blockchain, so that all the data associated with your expenditure for a specific asset is kept on the blockchain. And we refer to it as asset-centric accounting, because then all the information is there, and if there are guarantees or warranties or things like that, it's easy to go and find the information related to that purchase or that expenditure and see when it was made, to who, and maybe there will be associated notes related to that. So it's not a case of it being in some archived file that sits in a warehouse somewhere. It is on blockchain, and the application is then able to use your BLA contract to go and find that information relatively quickly through the application. So we think that's great in terms of tracking expenditure. And then obviously, as the application grows and gets better, we're hoping to build in additional features that will show you maybe the profit that you've made and compare that with your expenditure, and all sorts of cool things like that in essence are there to help you with your little business of leasing out assets, or it could be a big business, who knows. But in essence, it's just to make the process of creating and managing these deals a lot easier using new technology. That's the the main aspect of it. Okay, and then the last thing here is transfer ownership. So like we also discussed in the previous video, and you saw when we had a look, as we discussed in the previous video, this transfer ownership function essentially allows you to transfer this BLA contract and all the associated data and privileges to another Lease app user. And it's relatively easy. If we go transfer, we would put the recipient's username and their wallet address, and it's relatively easy to do. And then by using this interface, it transfers everything, and it also updates the Lease app database, so the listing will then be viewable on their screen when they log in, and it will no longer be viewable on your screen. But just bear that in mind. If you transfer ownership, the funds that are paid into the BLA from an existing lease will still be paid into the BLA, and you'll no longer be able to withdraw it because you've transferred ownership. So the new owner will then be able to withdraw those funds. So just bear that in mind. But maybe that's part of the sale agreement, where you're selling it with the expected cash flows from any existing leases. But that's how it would work. It is possible to transfer it from another wallet, because it is based on an NFT token, but we would advise that you do it via this means, because this means automatically updates the Lease app database. The other means it may be a bit problematic because it doesn't automatically update the Lease app, and so there may be some syncing problems in that respect. We are aware of it, and we are working to improve that aspect, but at the moment we recommend that you rather use this means if you are going to transfer ownership. Okay, so that gives a bit of information. It shows you how to convert to a BLA, and then once you've converted to a BLA, what it's all about. So this is your BLA address. If you want to go and search for it on the Blockchain Explorer, you can do that. Just copy that address and then go and paste it into the Blockchain Explorer, and the Explorer will also show you all the transactions that are that have been processed that are associated with this blockchain address in terms of your interactions. So this isn't the only means of looking at those transactions. You can go to a separate blockchain explorer, a third-party explorer, and look for those transactions, which allows you to verify things independently of the Lease app, which gives you also that peace of mind that everything's hunky-dory and done correctly. Okay, so great. That's it for the BLA conversion. We hope this little tutorial video has been informative. I think the next one that we'll be doing in the not too distant future is an example of a lease deal, searching for an item, requesting a lease, and then from the lessor side approving the lease and the various transactions that would be associated with that. So thanks again for checking out the video. If you haven't yet listed your asset and converted it to a BLA, we urge you to do so. And then also remember this link down here at the bottom that can be earning you some income from those other users that sign up when they convert their assets to a BLA. Obviously terms and conditions apply and current rates in that regard apply, but it's a way to earn some extra income as well. Okay, great. Thanks guys. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.